Today, we're digging into something pretty provocative. It comes from a source called The Predator in the Suit, and it poses a question that, honestly, might just change how you look at the world of sales. Forever.
And believe me, this source does not pull any punches. It gets right to it asking, are the absolute best salespeople actually social predators? I know, right? It's a shocking claim. So let's see what kind of evidence it brings to the table.
The entire argument really hinges on this one pretty disturbing idea. The source claims the secret sauce for elite sales performance isn't what you'd think. It's not just skill or charisma. Nope. It's something much, much darker. A total lack of empathy.
Okay, so let's dive into that. This first part is called The Predator in the Suit. We're going to get right to the heart of what this source is actually arguing.
So here's the comparison it makes, and it is, well, it's unsettling. It basically argues that the playbook, the whole strategy of a top-tier salesperson, is pretty much identical to that of a social predator. Think about it. Both are laser-focused on one thing, identifying a target, and then exploiting it.
So you're probably thinking, how on earth do you justify a comparison like that? Well, the source grounds its entire argument in a real clinical psychological tool. It calls it the Psychopathy Checklist.
And I gotta stress this. This isn't some term they just made up for effect. The Psychopathy Checklist is a legitimate clinical tool that professionals use to assess psychopathic traits. And what the source does is it takes this real-world checklist and uses it as a lens to look at everyday sales tactics. Okay, now this is where the argument gets really spicy. The source takes all these traits we usually admire in a salesperson, right? Things like being persuasive, charming, goal-oriented, and it completely flips them on their head. That persuasive quality, it's reframed as manipulative. That charm, well, that's just superficial charm. And that relentless, gotta-hit-the-target, goal-oriented drive, the source twists it into a lack of empathy. It's a total paradigm shift.
So, okay, if that's the mindset, what's the actual technique? How do they do it? The source points to one core strategy it calls the art of mirroring.
And let's be super clear here, this has nothing to do with a genuine connection. According to the source, this kind of mirroring is pure theater. It's a calculated performance designed to fake a bond, to manufacture trust where there isn't any to begin with. In fact, the source breaks it down into this really cold, almost clinical four-step process. Step 1, identify the target. This is all about figuring out what they want, what they're afraid of. Step 2, mimic and match. You copy their language, their body language, even their values. Step 3, engineer trust. All that mimicking creates a false sense of connection, a fake bond. And then, step 4, the most cynical one of all, exploit that trust to close the deal.
So, why? Why go through all this? Is it really just about the money? The commission check? The source says, nope, not really. The real driver, it claims, is something way more primal. It's all about the dopamine hit.
The way the source puts it, the money is just, well, it's just how you keep score. The real prize is that chemical rush in your brain, that dopamine spike you get from the thrill of the hunt, from the feeling of control, from the conquest of finally closing the deal. The win itself, that's the addiction.
And the language the source uses to describe this mindset is, wow, it's visceral. It describes someone who can, and I'm quoting here, smile with a shit-eating grin while emptying your pockets. I mean, that phrase is designed to paint a picture of just total, chilling detachment from what happens to the customer, isn't it? To make this even more concrete, the source gives us a perfect cultural reference point. Think of the Jordan Belfort-like chameleon from The Wolf of Wall Street. You know, that guy. That's the archetype we're talking about. The ultimate personality shapeshifter. Someone who can become whoever you need them to be just to get what they want.
So you take all of these ideas together, the lack of empathy, this art of mirroring, the addiction to the dopamine hit, and it all leads to the source's final powerful metaphor, the salesperson's mask. And this really brings us to the core, chilling takeaway from the source. That friendly smile, that trustworthy vibe, it's not a person. It's a tool, a carefully constructed mask that's worn for one reason and one reason only, to close the deal, at any cost.
And you know, the source doesn't really give us any easy answers here. It just leaves us with this really unsettling question to chew on. So the next time you encounter that perfect smile, you hear that perfect pitch, you might just find yourself wondering, what's really behind the mask?